The time is 6:01 p.m. and the regular meeting of the City Council of the City of Denison, Texas is now in session. Our invocation is going to be given by Pastor Dave Pettigrew, Denison Church of the Nazarene.
Let's pray. Almighty God, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day and your many blessings. Send down upon those who hold office in the city of Denison the spirit of wisdom, charity, and justice, that with steadfast purpose they may faithfully serve in their offices to promote the well-being of all people. Through Jesus Christ our Lord. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible. It's always exciting when we get to recognize one of our own for extraordinary accomplishments. And we have known for a while that our city library was extraordinary. And it's even more exciting when others recognize that as well. So tonight it is my pleasure to introduce our city manager, Judd Rex, who will make a very important announcement regarding our library system. Mr. Rex?
Thank you, Mayor, council members, members of the community. Appreciate you joining us tonight. So, quick fact for you, there's 571 public libraries in the state of Texas, and the Texas Municipal Library Directors Association selects out of those 571 libraries, you can apply for an award to be recognized for an award of excellence. And out of those 571 libraries, only 53, which is less than 10%, get recognized and receive this award. And I don't have a number for how many have got it the last 6 years, but I know that Denison is part of that company that's received this the last 6 years. So, Greg, if you want to bring your staff up here, I'm going to present you on behalf of the Texas Municipal Library Directors Association this 2019 Achievement of Library Excellence presented to the Denison Public Library. Congratulations. There you go. And if you want to, maybe we'll come in the middle here to get a quick picture with the city council, if that's all right. Scoot over here.
Why don't we stand up?
Congratulations. We're very proud of our public library, and clearly they are exceptional. I always hear about the 10-80-10 rule, which is that in general, across the population of whatever, it's libraries, people, leaders, managers, you've got 10% at the bottom, 80% in the middle, and 10% at the top. And we're the 10% at the top, so you guys are really setting the standard high for libraries. So congratulations. Yep. Thank you.
I'd just like to say that I've been very happy ever since I came to the job here in Denison last August. And obviously this is an award for the course of the entire year, and it is for the entire library. It's not something I can really take credit for. It's people like Steve and Deb here who really carried a good load and moved us forward with some really good programs and some good solid accomplishments. So as for us, it's 6 feet. And we're very happy about that.
Item 3, public comments. At this point in each council meeting, we set time aside so that citizens may speak on action action items listed on the agenda. In order to speak, you must fill out a request to speak card prior to reaching the public comments section of the agenda. Comments are limited to 3 minutes and must address action items that are listed on the agenda. These are comments only, and there should be no dialogue between the citizen and the council or the staff. Comments related to the public hearings listed on the agenda will be heard when that specific agenda item is heard. So we have no cards? Just for the public hearing, okay. Item 4, consent agenda.
Mayor, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Hander and a second by Mayor Pro Tem Adams. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 5A, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance for a conditional use permit for a storage facility, 5-star storage, located at 3621 Pottsboro Road, Denison, Texas. Mr. Medina.
Good evening, Mayor, members of council. It's good to see you all again. This item here is for the request of a conditional use permit to expand the existing 5-star storage. The current facility and its use will not the use will not be changed in any way. The facility is requesting to add on a just about 16,000 square foot open air storage facility for vehicles such as RVs or other trucks, things of that nature. They already have something similar on site. Here's an aerial of the subject property. And here's the zoning. This site plan here was recently approved last week by the Planning and Zoning Commission. So pending tonight's decision, they'll be allowed to move forward with their site plan. I'm present for any questions that you may have.
Questions for Mr. Medina? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? There being none, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion.
Mayor, I move to approve the ordinance for a conditional use permit for a storage facility, 5-star storage, located at 3621 Pottsboro Road, Denison, Texas, 75020.
Second.
There is a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams and a second by Councilmember Greenleaf. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 5B, receive a report, hold a discussion, conduct a public hearing, and take action on an ordinance for a conditional use permit for the allowance for a cabinet manufacturer for Texoma Woodworks LLC, located at 1611 West Morton, Denison, Texas, 75020. Mr. Medina.
Good evening again. This item here is for the approval of a conditional use permit. Staff recommends approval. The cabinet manufacturer will be located, or proposed to be located, in the old, what used to be known as the Cole Lumber Facility at 1611 West Morton. Here's an aerial of it. Here's the zoning. The yellow shows that it's zone commercial. Here's the site plan that we've taken a look at. Because it is an existing site, we've had to go back and add a couple of things that weren't there previously, such as a fire lane, make sure there was enough parking. And here's what the building currently looks like today. Some of you may be aware that this project here, this facility, has been part of the code enforcement. Their team has been working on fixing up some of the paint, some of the rotting wood on the exterior. So the owner of the building and the applicant have really come a long way to get this building in the condition it is now. And the city staff and the applicant feel that it's ready to be moved forward and have some more business move back in that previous lumber facility. Present for any questions that you may have, and we recommend approval.
Questions for Mr. Medina? This is a public hearing. Is there anyone here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? Yes, ma'am. State your name and address for the record, please.
Yes, ma'am. I am Crystal Perkins. My husband and I own Texoma Woodworks LLC. We do not own the building. We are in a lease agreement on the building, and we have made a lot of improvements on the building, as I'm sure you all are aware. I want to thank everybody for the opportunity to speak. This is very, very important to our family. We've put a lot of blood, sweat, and tears into this place to fulfill this vision for our family and for Denison. We have a lot of communication with builders and contractors in the area that extend all the way from North Dallas into Oklahoma, and we believe that this is a great thing for our city. We have a very unique idea for this building. The front half of the building will be utilized as a retail space with existing cabinets that consumers can come in and purchase, or just get ideas and brainstorm. We will have a design center there as well so that they can take those existing cabinets and then expand upon them, and our design team will help them to build what is best for them. We want people to work for us. We have a vision for adding a lot of employees. Right now, of course, our focus has just been getting up to par with you all and getting this approved, but we have a combined experience and residents in this area for over, my husband and I both, for over 30 years. We've been residents of this town, and we really, really believe in what we're doing, and we hope that you will approve our vision. So I want to thank you all, and that's all I have. I'm obviously speaking in favor. So.
Well, let me ask you a quick question.
Yes, ma'am.
So you're going to have ready builds?
Yes, we
as well
will.
as custom?
That's correct.
Okay.
And we actually do have, we've redesigned the building in a way so that there is a window into our manufacturing area so that folks can come in and they can actually see those being built. So it isn't like Home Depot, sorry to throw that in the bus, but you don't just come in and, pick what you want. If you want to see that, it's actually being produced there on site, you'll be able to do that.
Well, we are so appreciative of the improvements that you have made to that building. You had made an impact that can't be measured, actually.
Well, thank you.
So
We like to think so as well.
Street now, you go, wow. So.
Yeah, we're thankful for that space. I mean, it needed a home, and so did we, and it's just been a great fit for us. So we're ready to start making money for the city and ourselves, and move forward. And by the way, we had a lot of action in there today with the landscaping and stuff that was recommended by the P&Z committee. So if you guys get a chance to drive by tomorrow, you'll definitely notice some more changes in addition to what you see there. So that's all I have. Unless you have questions.
For Ms. Perkins?
Just wanted to say thank you as well. I don't think that
Thank
building
you.
has looked that good ever.
Right, right.
think
I
you're
truly
right.
believe it, but it does catch your eye, and it makes
We've
you
had a
think
lot of
people could
questions,
reinvest in our commercial properties to make them awesome structures like this, so thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate that very
Well,
much.
and Mr. Hander, the other thing about that is that it's also a huge success story for code enforcement. And so we appreciate y'all's efforts, Robert, and y'all working with them as the tenant. And that's the thing, Texoma Woodworks is really the people that are putting the investment into that building. I mean, we got a great landowner there, or landlord there, but at the same time, you guys are the ones that are out there on a day-to-day. So we appreciate
Yeah,
your efforts.
thank you for
sure.
acknowledging that.
Yeah, no, certainly.
Is that it
Thank
for me? Okay, thanks, y'all.
Is there anyone else here wishing to speak on behalf of this agenda item? If not, the public hearing is closed. Discussion from council. A motion.
Mayor, I move to approve the request for conditional use permit of the subject property.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Spiegel, a second by Councilmember Greenleaf. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Item 6A, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on an ordinance declaring the unopposed candidates for election to the office of council member in the May 2nd, 2020 general election for single-member District 3, Place 3, and at-large Place 5, and providing that the May 2nd, 2020 general election shall not be held. Ms. Wallenstein.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Sorry, my subject's a little drab, so I don't have a PowerPoint. I'm just going to touch on some of the highlights here. On December 16th, 2019, the city clerk caused to be posted on the front windows of City Hall at 300 West Main and published on the city's website the required notice of deadline to file applications for place on the ballot. The filing dates and times for filing the application for place on the ballot were Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., January 15, 2020 through February 14, 2020, and the last day for a write-in candidate was 5 p.m. on February 18th. As you may recall, on February 3rd, the City Council called the general election to be held on May 2nd for the purpose of electing council members for single-member District 3, Place 3, and at-large Place 5. J.C. Doty was the only applicant for single-member District 3, Place 3, and Christopher Spiegel was the only applicant for at-large Place 5. And no other write-in candidates applied as well. On February 19th, 2020, the city clerk delivered certification of unopposed candidates to the City Council as required by Texas Election Code, Section 2.052. Pursuant to Section 2.053B of the Texas Election Code, upon receiving the certification, the City Council may, by ordinance, declare the unopposed candidates elected to office and dispense with the necessity of holding the election. By doing so, the city will save over $9,000 for not having the election, which is what the Grayson County Elections Administration estimates the cost of the election to be. So staff recommends approval of the ordinance.
Questions for Ms. Wallenstein? Discussion from council. A motion.
I move to adopt the ordinance declaring the unopposed candidate for election to the office of council member in the May 2nd, 2020 general election for single member District 3, Place 3, and at large Place 5, and providing that the May 2, 2020 general election shall not be held. Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Greenleaf and a second by Councilmember Hander. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Pose same sign. The motion carries. Thank you, Ms. Wallenstein. Item 6B, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on a resolution implementing changes in the sidewalk repair program. Ms. Jones.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. In December of 2019, we met with the street subcommittee and we discussed the possibility of making some proposed changes to the sidewalk repair program. The current program has been in place, it's been in place longer than the fiscal year 2018, but we started setting aside money in 2018 specifically for the sidewalk program out of our street maintenance fund. That program is open to all homeowners who have a current sidewalk that is in need of repair or replacement. The city will split that cost 50-50. We have been setting aside $67,000 a year, and over the last two and a half years, we've only spent about $25,000 out of the $67,000 allocated annually for the 50-50 homeowner program. We have spent money on other sidewalks where public improvements were necessary, so it's not we haven't spent the money on sidewalks, it's just we have not gotten the participation that we anticipated for the 50-50 homeowner program. So we began to look at ways that we could potentially open this up to other business owners or try to make sure that that money is being used much more efficiently than what we are currently utilizing it. So we proposed some changes that would go into effect September 1st, 2020 for fiscal year 2021. That we would also open this 50-50 program up to business owners. The homeowners would still have the opportunity as a 50-50 program as well, but now business owners would have the opportunity to apply for a sidewalk in front of their business. We also suggested that we have defined application periods. Under our current program, a homeowner can apply and it could be 6 months before we are able to pour concrete for them. We have to have so much work for a contractor to come out and do the work, and so typically we have to wait until we have so many applications in place, so we can't ever give a very defined timeline on when that concrete is going to be poured. So by breaking the year up into 2 defined application periods, the first one would be September to February, we would be able to tell homeowners or business owners that if they applied within those months, we would be able to pour concrete in either March or April, depending on the weather for that year. If they applied anywhere from March to August, we would then pour in September. So it would give the homeowners a little bit more definition when they would actually get their sidewalk repaired. And it also allows us to have a better applicant or better contractors that have the required insurance that we currently hold for the city. We also discussed possibly breaking the city up into 4 zones. The first zone, or Zone 1, is north of Main Street and east of Highway 91. Zone 2 is south of Main Street and east of Tone and College. Zone 3 is south of Hull Crawford and west of Tone College. And Zone 4 is north of Hull Crawford and west of Highway 91. That way, any money that is not utilized for either homeowners or business owners, we can focus that money in those zones based on the year and what designated zone that is to do public improvements. So for example, when we met with the street subcommittee in December, we had discussed the zones and focusing on Zone 1 for 2021 and focusing on Woodard between the 200 and 600 blocks. There's a lot of trip hazards. There's no ADA ramps. It helps connect to downtown. So those are the kind of public improvements we would be looking for. Every year, staff would bring that list of public improvements to the street subcommittee for approval. So it wouldn't be, we'll just spend money here, we'll spend money there. We'll have an approved plan each year to where if we have so much money left over, we know how many ADA ramps we'll be able to install. We'll know how many trip hazards we would be able to fix with that leftover money based on how many homeowners and business owners that we would get for that year. Also with these zones, homeowners and business owners do not have to be in that zone to apply for that year. They can be any location in the city. And we also know that we have sidewalk issues that come up that staff is made aware of outside of that zone. So if those come up throughout the year, it doesn't have to be in that Zone 1. It would just be dedicated for money left over if we have any at the end of the application periods. One other item that came out of the street subcommittee meeting was a marketing plan for this program. We have not done the best job at marketing our current program, and so in conjunction with the Community Engagement Office, we've come up with a marketing plan that would begin after this meeting, if everything is approved, to start more advertising our current program to homeowners, since that will be something that is continued into the new year. And then in July, when the new quarterly newsletter comes out, we will roll out the business program as well. And then we will also reach out to news stations to potentially do news interviews there as well, and do brochures that could be put at DDA, the library, the chamber, to where people have an opportunity to just walk in and grab a brochure about the program as well. So those are the proposed changes to the sidewalk program that makes it a little bit more robust than what we have now. We have a draft resolution that outlines the rules to the program. And staff recommends approval, and I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Ms. Jones?
Do we know about what the cost is for 50, like, most of our lots downtown are 50 feet wide. Do we know how, about ballpark, what a sidewalk costs for that?
We typically, it depends on the length of the property, but usually one property is about 2,500 total.
Okay.
So it'll depend on several factors,
No, I
but
understand.
yeah.
And can they also replace a smaller segment, if it's just a
Yes.
3 foot wide or whatever those are?
Yes, if there's only like one trip hazard and the rest of the sidewalk is fine, we'll just replace that one joint.
Perfect.
Who is responsible for determining if that sidewalk needs to be repaired, replaced? Is that code enforcement?
It's the streets department. We have an application process that we go out and evaluate that, and we have a staff member who handles all of that, and he determines if the trip hazard is large enough that would recommend replacement. To be honest, we have not denied anybody at this point because they've all been severe enough that they need to be replaced. But we do have a staff member that does that.
Are those typically 36-inch or 48-inch sidewalks? Do you know if they're 3 or 4 foot?
A lot of the residential ones are 36.
Any other questions for Ms. Jones? Discussion from council.
Super excited about this project. I love sidewalks. So I'm anxious for people to apply and get the ball rolling.
Well, extending it to businesses is going to make such a difference because in our historic overlay, there are so
thoroughfares like Morton Street where we have homes and then businesses. There used to be sidewalks there, and in some cases there's remnants. So this will really open it up to some of those busier streets.
Thank you.
Further discussion from council? A motion.
Mayor, I move to approve the resolution and the proposed changes to the sidewalk repair program for homeowners and business owners.
Second.
There is a motion by Councilmember Hander and a second by Councilmember Spiegel. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 6C, receive a report, hold a discussion, and take action on an ordinance amending ordinance number 5008 by amending Chapter 13 nuisances, Article 7 premises maintenance by adding Part D rental registration program. Mr. Lay.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am definitely excited about this potentially being the last presentation I give on this process.
It's been a long 7 months, huh?
I have been studying rental programs and the rental market for going on about 18 months now. So, but yes, it has been quite a process and have learned a ton. So I'm going to give a little bit of the background about how we got here, present the program briefly, and let y'all ask any questions you have. So. In 2019, we proposed a rental inspection and registration program. The goal has always been to take steps to ensure quality housing in support of the city's vision. Our objective was to create a program that allows the city to inspect a rental property, encourage compliance with basic health and safety at rental property. So after a public meeting last June, we formed a stakeholder committee, met multiple times, learned a lot from the stakeholder committee. Some of the things that come out of that is we have a complex rental market, that the problems lie with both tenants and landlords, and those issues are split. That we saw a need to further education on what people are responsible for, and that ultimately our best course of action was to foster a great relationship with property owners in our effort and their effort to create and maintain quality housing. So we came up with a totally voluntary registration program. One is where they can just register only. Another is they can register their properties and have them voluntarily inspected. We come up with a good set of benefits to help the property owners maintain that level of housing by allowing them to save some money on the front end and put that money back into their rental market or rental homes. So our next steps, if this is approved this evening, staff will be coming forward to ask for the addition of one additional code compliance officer to conduct this program and to continue to move our code compliance initiatives forward. And another thing we got from the stakeholder committee is what we're doing basically to hold everyone accountable for what's going on. So we'll be presenting another ordinance that beefs up our penalties for violations of all of Chapter 13, which includes minimum property standards and all things rental property. So if approved tonight, May 1st, 2020 would be the registration and inspection kickoff date. And I'm here to answer any questions.
Questions for Mr. Lay? Discussion from council. A motion.
Mayor, I move to approve an ordinance amending ordinance number 5008 by amending Chapter 13 nuisances, Article 7 premises maintenance by adding Part D rental registration program.
Second.
There is a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams and a second by Councilmember Hander. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Robert, I want to personally thank you and on behalf of the council for your leadership throughout this. This has been a long learning experience that we've had, and I wish our stakeholders that were part of the task force were here because they added so much to the credibility of this program. So thank you for all your hard work that you put into this, and I think that this is going to do exactly what it was intended to do, and that was to provide safe housing for all of our residents, so.
Mayor, one note on that, on all those folks that worked so hard on this. Several of them did show up last council meeting, didn't catch the memo that we had pushed it off until this month. And so Mr. Schmitz personally reached out today and said he apologized for not being here, but he was really proud to see this program come to fruition. So definitely his thoughts are with us.
Thank you. All right. 6D, receive a report, hold a discussion, and award the bid to 5W Contracting LLC for the 2020 Spring Overlay Program in the amount of $441,567 and authorize the city manager to enter into a contract. Ms. Jones.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. We started this annual maintenance program for our streets back in 2016. Since then, we have spent approximately $3.2 million on overlays and micro pavings throughout the city. This year, we are focusing on the east side of town. There's a map that you can see a little bit. They're highlighted in pink. So the way that staff chooses this and brings it to the subcommittee, we have an evaluation process that we look at the pavement condition index of each of the streets. We also look at traffic counts and planned or already completed utility work on that street. So it's a process that takes to look at all three of those. Once we have a list of usually about 30 streets, we take that to the street subcommittee, and through discussions, streets are either replaced or removed or added. So this year, we met in December of 2019, and we had a list of about 30 streets, and we narrowed that down to 21 streets, 1 alley, and 1 parking lot to be overlaid for this 2020 spring overlay program. Out of the streets, the average PCI score is 33, with the lowest being 8 and the highest being 85. That 85 was taken prior to utility work being done, so it is much lower now than what it was, but we didn't have an updated PCI score to put in there for that. The bid was put out to contractors on January 25th, 2020, and staff opened the bids on February 13th, 2020. Out of 5 bids that we received, the lowest was by 5W Contracting LLC out of Sulphur Springs for the amount of $441,567. So staff recommends approval of awarding this contract to 5W Contracting. I'll be happy to answer any questions.
Ms. Jones. Thank you.
Thank you.
Discussion from council. A motion.
Mayor, I move to award the bid to 5W Contracting LLC for a total amount of $441,567 and approve entering into a contract for the 2020 Spring Overlay Program and authorize the city manager to execute the same.
Second.
There is a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams and a second by Councilmember Greenleaf. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Item 7, executive session. Pursuant to Chapter 551 Texas Government Code, the council reserves the right to convene an executive session from time to time as deemed necessary during the meeting to receive legal advice from its attorney on any posted agenda item as permitted by law, or to discuss the following: consult with attorney on a matter in which the attorney's duty to the governmental body under the Texas disciplinary rules of professional conduct conflicts with this chapter, and/or consult with attorney about pending or contemplated litigation or contemplated settlement of the same, section 551.071. Consult with city attorney on House Bill 2840 and rules of procedure. Consult with city attorney on city council meeting security plan. Discuss the deployment and specific occasions for implementation of security personnel or devices, section 551.076. Consult with a city attorney on city council meeting security plan. The time is 6:35 and the council is now in executive session. I'm out of here. time is 7:18 and the council returns to regular session. Item A1, rules and procedures related to House Bill 2840. We are likely going to take action on this, so we will allow public comments. If there's anyone who wishes to speak, you need to go fill out a card with Ms. Wallenstein. Oh, okay. Have a seat, please. You need to fill out your card and return it to Ms. Wallenstein, and then you will be called upon to speak at the proper time.
Does it count if you already have my information?
I'm sorry?
Does it count if you already have my information? The address as well as the name?
We need your name and address.
But the council already knows that.
I'm sorry?
The council already knows the name and the address.
Okay, well, you're filling out a request to speak card, so please put your name and address on the card and return it to Ms. Wallenstein. After the presentation by the city manager, we'll call upon you for public comments.
Well, don't we have a right to anonymity according to the Supreme Court ruling?
Sir, if you want to speak, fill out your name and address and return the card to Ms. Wallenstein. If you don't want to speak, then please just have a seat so we can go ahead and have our meeting.
Okay. Just give me 1 second. What's
Joe, you can put your real name on here, or you. According to the Supreme Court case, I have a right to my anonymity. I need you to leave the room right now. Right now. You need to leave the room. Now, David, do you want to fill out a card and speak?
Mr. Rex?
Thank you, Mayor and council members. It's been the practice of the city to accept public comment on action items since Senate or House Bill 2840 was passed this last legislative session. Our sort of rules for that public comment period have never been formalized, and so in an effort to be transparent about accepting public comments and what that looks like, we did go ahead and draft a document to memorialize that. So I'll read a little bit of it and then just kind of touch on a few of those points as well. It says, the City of Denison recognizes the importance of engaging residents in the decision-making process. The City Council and staff engage often with residents and seek open and transparent dialogue during events and activities hosted by the city. The City Council and staff readily make themselves available to meet individually with residents to answer questions and listen to concerns. Resident engagement is also available digitally through the city's website and social media outlets. In addition, City Council and other boards and commissions reserve time during public meetings to gather public comment.
Consistent with House Bill 2840, the Open Meetings Act, and other state laws, the City Council of the City of Denison may adopt reasonable rules governing the public comment portion of public meetings. Accordingly, the following rules shall apply to the public comment periods for all public meetings held by the City of Denison. And I'll just touch on a few of those that are outlined here. One is that we do ask people to fill out a public comment card with their full legal name and address prior to the meeting, and then that is delivered to the city clerk, who gives it to the mayor or other presiding officer at the meeting to introduce the person. Of course, we want to maintain basic decorum in the meetings, and so that's outlined here. Generally, comments are only taken on action items. Sometimes, you know, we have informational items on the agenda, and so we won't take comments on those, only if it's an action item. Individuals wishing to speak on items listed under the public hearing portion of the agenda should fill out a comment period, or sorry, public comment card as well, but their testimony will be taken during the actual public hearing for that. So again, most of these we've been practicing. We just want to put them into writing and formally adopt them and make the rules transparent to those who come to our meetings. So I'm happy to answer any questions. Of course, City Attorney is as well, and appreciate her assistance in helping draft these comments or these rules as well.
Questions for Mr. Rex? A motion?
Mayor, I move to approve the rules of procedure as presented by the city manager.
Second.
There is a motion by Mayor Pro Tem Adams and a second by Councilmember Hander. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. The motion carries. Consult with the city attorney on city council meeting security plan. No action taken. Item F, discuss the deployment or specific occasions for implementation of security personnel or devices, section 551.076. Consult with attorney on city council meeting security plan. No action taken. There being no further business to come before this body, the time is 7:25 and we stand adjourned.